Good morning. It is just after sunrise and I am here at the Frog Mountain Trailhead, and today I am going to be climbing Frog Mountain. I'm really excited for this one because this is a newer trail in Washington. It was very recently constructed in the last couple of years, and it climbs to a summit here in the Wild Sky Wilderness. It's supposed to be short and sweet with 7.5 miles of climbing and 2,300 feet of gain. The views of these surrounding peaks are supposed to be amazing, and I'm really excited to check this trail out. But already, check out that view from the parking lot. So when there are views of the parking lot, you know it's going to be good. So I'm going to get going up this thing because we are still technically in spring in the mountains, and that means it is about 40 degrees and it's pretty chilly here. So I'm gonna get going on up this mountain. Should be beautiful views, and I have heard there are wildflowers. So I have done about half the mileage and half the gain up this thing. The first part of this trail follows an old roadbed that got converted to a trail through the forest. But some of the peekaboo views I've gotten were really incredible. I love this area of the wilderness, and it makes me very excited to get up higher, because at the top of the switchbacks is when things open up for that final ascent to the summit. But yeah, just going through the forest and listening to all the birds. I think I've seen probably a dozen grouse, but have not managed to get any on camera because they spook. But yep, I'm going to keep grinding these switchbacks and get up towards some more views. I made it to the top of the switchback section, and I found the views and also some snow. This is the final part up to the summit, which is kind of just meandering along the ridge. So all the steep parts are done, but oh my gosh, I hope the footage showed just how beautiful some of the views on that second half of the switchbacks are. Really beautiful. And I can see Glacier Peak over there. Oh my gosh, I love this, because being in this area, in this wilderness, even though it doesn't take much to get here, it really does feel like you're in the middle of nowhere, and all these mountains are just so rugged. It's one of the reasons I love the Wild Sky Wilderness so much. But onward to the summit. We've got about half a mile left, give or take, and it should be beautiful. I give you the top of Frog Mountain. I found the snow and I found the views. Oh, this is why summits in this area are amazing. I'm just looking deep into some of Washington's most rugged wilderness at some of the steepest peaks. Oh my God. Well, I am going to hang out here. I got up here very early so I can enjoy the views and soak in some sun because it has finally warmed up, but gosh, I could stare at these for days. All right, well, I will give the tour. There are a lot of peaks here and I do not know all the names of them. There's so many pointy, rocky spires, but I'm gonna start looking north because this north view is what you climb the mountain for. There are some excellent views south as well, but this is where you start. And that right there is the star of the show today. Glacier Peak, covered in snow, one of Washington's 5 volcanoes, and it looks so close. I feel like I could touch it. It's right there. The camera's gonna make it look small, but it's a massive 10,000 foot mountain. So amazing there, and that's Glacier Peak Wilderness. And then coming here, this very, very pointy spire here, that is Sloan Peak. It's one of the steepest mountains in Washington. And then these two big ones, the other probably highlight of the view. This is Keys Peak or Keys Peak and Columbia Peak. And the base in between them is where Blanca Lake is, and that's very popular. And I believe the point between them, you got Monte Cristo, and then we've got more of the Monte Cristo peaks. I think this might be Del Campo. This mountain here is Troublesome Mountain. And then over here, this is the valley that I drove up to get up here. Beautiful drive. And so we've got more of the wilderness peaks. And then this mountain over here, that is Bear Mountain. And there are good views facing south, but it's the north-facing views that you come for on the summit. And I can actually see Rainier from here, but I will go down on the ridge to finish the tour of the south-facing peaks because, oh, this trail just puts so many incredible mountains on full display. But I really like this area and this wilderness because the mountains are just so jagged. It's beautiful. Okay, well, here I am down on the ridge, and this is facing south, and the cool thing about this is you can see the top of Rainier. You can't see the whole mountain, but you can see some of it. You can also see one of these spires of Mount Bering and I believe Gun Peak. And then we have the Alpine Lakes Wilderness in the south here, and the big one here is Mount Daniel, Mount Hinman, and then more of the Alpine Lakes Wilderness. Again, a gorgeous south-facing view that is completely open. And I'm just like a little ways off the summit by just a couple hundred feet. It's like right behind me. And this part of the trail also really cool. And now I am heading back down the mountain, and it should be beautiful because it's warmed up, the sun is hitting the slopes, and the views on the second half of this climb are just amazing. Like, I'm just along here, check that out. It's pretty awesome. This is the trail, so I am going to have a very fun descent, and hopefully I can get some good pictures of the trillium that are in the lower forest, but should be a good one. Well, that was Frog Mountain, and wow, I was pleasantly surprised. Since this is a newer trail, there's not as much information about it and what the trail's like and all of the views, but oh my gosh, it offers some really amazing views for very little climbing of the mountains in this area. And the trail is great. It's really nicely graded switchbacks the entire way. And the top half, so like I say the top third of the mountain has pretty continuous views. And once you start climbing, you start getting peekaboo views of what is to come. And I think my favorite part has to be the view of Glacier Peak. It just feels so close. It's one of the closest views I've had of Glacier Peak. And the other one is probably Sloan Peak, just because that mountain is really cool. It's just so steep. It's like a knife coming out of the mountains. And I mean, just seeing all of the mountains with some snow on them in the area, just amazing. And I love how remote this area feels as well. It just, this wilderness area is beautiful. Highly recommend. I think it would be a really good beginner mountain because the gain is moderate and there's nothing terribly difficult about it. So it's a good one if you're working up to bigger mountains and stuff like that. And the views and the payoff are definitely worth it. So thank you so much for watching. And here are my favorite pictures from the trail today. Enjoy.